What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, Iman Shumpert, man, just went out of his way, in my opinion, to insult LeBron James' past teammates. Right? Basically, Iman Shumpert said that LeBron never had a teammate like Steph Curry, somebody who would definitely demand a double team, and that's not true. You know, LeBron James played with Dwayne Wade, which when you remember, Dwayne Wade had a championship ring before LeBron even decided to go to before he even decided to go to Miami. LeBron James played with let me see, he played with Anthony Davis, you know, who I thought, you know, Anthony Davis definitely draw the double team. Then he, you know, and lately, and you know, he been playing with Luca, right? So you can't say, oh, and then I forgot Kyrie when they were in, you know, in Cleveland. So you can't say, I just named four players that LeBron James played with who definitely drew double teams, right? So this statement by Iman Shumpert just lets me know that the media has an agenda, right? They don't want to publicly, and they're not going to publicly drag LeBron James, and they're not going to, because they know that, like, the fans are really going to do that. Like, the court of public opinion is overwhelmingly against LeBron James. So the media is just they're going to make it seem like, and I think the media realized that the more that they pump LeBron James up, and, you know, I think the more they realize they're going to get pushback. And so when you have Iman Shumpert coming on making these kind of statements, trying to glorify LeBron James at a time when LeBron James, you know, he's struggling to even find a team to play for, it just let me know that there's an agenda against LeBron James. Now, some people might say, well, those were positive comments coming from Iman Shumpert on ESPN's platform, right? But I would much more appreciate honest, you know, like the honesty. Like, you don't really have to drag LeBron James, you know, on your platform. But if you're honest about what LeBron James is going through and LeBron James' situation, and you're honest about the teammates that LeBron James had, you wouldn't make this statement that Iman Shumpert has made about LeBron James never having a player, you know, a teammate like Steph Curry that drew the double team. You know, and so I just think, and this is part of the reason, in my opinion, that LeBron James is as arrogant and entitled that he is because he, like, you never get a honest opinion about him. And then so when somebody do, you know, bring up and, you know, say something honest about him, then it gets brushed off or something like that. And LeBron James, you know, he throughout his career, he has never really taken criticism well. So now, with that being said, what I want to do is I want to play the statements about Iman Shumpert, and you know, just come back and give some more of my input.
We gave Katie
Does that
all
hurt
that
a little
slack,
bit?
and then
Yeah.
you know, but
Right,
whatever. We'll get over it first, and then again, to watch LeBron, especially in this time of his career, he'll have somebody that you now can't help off. To right now, both of them to have somebody that it kind of eliminates a double team, so to speak. But all the more reason for you to say we need to send a double team on these two guys. It's just going to be an interesting thing to watch, especially will they be on the ball side together? Will they?
So you heard. All right, so let me say this, right? Oh, so now on this panel, you had Iman Shumpert, you had let me see if I could pull up a picture. You had Iman Shumpert, you had Kendrick Perkins, you had Wemby, and you had what's the Hannah Storm, right? It might have been one other person on there. And always remember this, like, that was his take was dishonest because, like I said, I just pointed out four people that definitely LeBron James played with that drew the double team, right? So the take right off the bat was dishonest, untrue. But you never see Wemby making these kind of claims, right? Every time some type of outrageous claim is being made, it's always made by, like, one of these guys who they prop up and they one of these black guys. Well, Nick Wright not black, but most of the time it's a black guy that they make these outrageous claims, and the significance to that is that you destroy your credibility. Like Wemby, he's never coming on making these kind of claims. Hannah Storm is sitting right there. You never see her make those kind of claims. They bring on Iman Shumpert to say this nonsense. Kendrick Perkins, what's the other guy name? Stephen A. Smith. And the networks use these guys to make these outrageous claims and come up with these dishonest takes on LeBron James. And it really messes up their credibility. And I've said this before in other videos, and when it's time to give an honest assessment, when they don't have anything else to do but to tell the truth, then that's when somebody like Wemby will come up and he's in charge of, of making those type of statements. But Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, now Iman Shumpert, those guys, man, come on here and they damage their credibility by making these BS, these BS statements, blowing smoke up LeBron James' backside when he no way in the world like this was Steph Curry as the only basketball player that LeBron James has played for that demanded a double team. Like because it's so hard to stay in front of Kyrie Irving, people had to help offer their man and help with Kyrie Irving. That big shot Kyrie Irving hit against Steph Curry, like he had Steph Curry on an island, and Steph Curry, and that's not a knock on Steph Curry, but Steph Curry couldn't do anything with that. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. Dwayne Wade had a championship and demanded a double team when he played by, before LeBron even got there. Dwayne Wade led the Heat to a championship. So that statement by Iman Shumpert is just part of the reason, number one, that LeBron James is so arrogant and entitled. And number two, it just goes to show me that these networks don't care about the credibility of the people. That's why it's opinion based, right? So you can come on there and you can give your opinion, and the networks allow you to give your opinion so they can separate themselves from you later on. And they don't care if your credibility is destroyed as long as they were like, well, it's opinion based. You know what I mean? If that's how he feel, that's how he feel. That's not how we feel as a network. That's how Iman Shumpert feel. That's how Kendrick Perkins feel. That's how Stephen A. Smith feel, right? And so, but they can't get their honest assessment on these shows. They got to go with what the network want them to say, no matter how outrageous it is, destroying their credibility. And then the network get to come back later on and say, well, that is opinion based. That's their opinion. And so the network gets to keep their credibility. Whereas though somebody like Stephen A. Smith, I think sooner or later, I think it's, all this stuff is going to backfire on these guys when they come in there and not really giving honest takes and, legitimate honest takes. And you never hear, like I said, you never hear Wemby, Hannah Storm. And Stephen A. Smith has been in the media for so long. Like, he's savvy and he should know better. Really, all of these guys should know better than this. Any of those guys at the network should know better than to come on there and just make, and make it sound like they're trying to say something profound, something that nobody else has thought of. And basically, they're not telling the truth. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.